Testing. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Check 1.
Yeah. You got enough of that? Sounds
Check
good.
1. Check 2.
To have my kids involved, and actually all my kids were involved. I have a son that didn't want to sing a solo, but I made him sing it at the choir. There's a choir song, From the Depths of Woe, and he sang in the choir, and that was pretty fun as well. So just having my kids in there, you know, singing with Mikey, singing with Megan, singing with Joseph. I always have that. I can always hit the button and listen, you know, as they go off and get married and have kids. So it's just a precious memory that, you know, and I did that on my earlier project too, just try to incorporate them more. And honestly, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. My wife has really been the driving force behind our kids being more involved in what I do. So hand the baton, give it to them, and let them take it on. Okay, so Joseph knew I was working on a project and I was rewriting songs because he had heard the one in church and said, you need to add a chorus. He's very opinionated. So he started writing this song downstairs, and I heard the lyric and I knew he hadn't written the lyric. And my wife told me it was an old hymn. She's like, yeah, I'm just writing this song. I knew what was going on. He wanted to get a song on the project. I know it. So and I listened to it, and I actually really loved it. I mean, he played all the hooks on it, all the piano riffs. That's all him. Now I played it on the project, but he came up with the ideas. And then I looked at the lyric, and it really does. If you go to the original lyric, it was written as a children's song for kids, for little kids. And so it needed a little bit of more grown-up lyric, and so I tweaked it a little bit. And he was not happy with me. So, but he came into the room, we sat down together, I'm like, Joseph, we've got to work on this lyric. You cannot be singing some of these lyrics. It's not fit for a man to be singing these songs. And he's like, really? All right, so we got in there, we kind of worked it through, and he was happy, I was happy, and we both agreed after it was all said and done, it was the right thing to do. So, and yeah, it ended up being one of my favorite songs on the project. Yes, my 50th birthday, Mikey and his brother Joseph and Timmy, I told them that they had to play the Lord I Need You song because I'd heard Mikey sing it and I loved it. So I made him perform it on my 50th birthday. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah. At that point, I was just like really scared because I was like, it's his 50th birthday and I don't know what to do. So we just like put together this song. Well, obviously we didn't write the song, but we performed it for him, and I was just like shaking the whole time.
We had like 30, 40 people in our house at that time.
I was super scared, but got through it, and he really liked it. I could see he was like tearing up. So it was just a really cool moment to be able to do music with my brothers, and just knowing that he had brought us up in a home that has a love for music, and just seeing him crying really meant a lot to me.
See, so. You did remember.
I do remember it now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Figured you did. Yeah, I think I just basically said I'm doing this. You know, I want to sing with Mikey. He had sung on my Christmas project, but it was more of a trio with his brothers. We kind of like the Phillips, Craig, and Dean of whatever. It was one of those songs. But Mikey, he did a great job. So I was like, you know what, Mikey, you're singing on this one. And you know, it's lower for him on the verses, but then he gets to go up a couple of times. He's got a great voice, so proud of him. And he loves music, but more important, he loves the Lord. So he wants to serve him in that capacity. So we'll see what the Lord has for him. So yes, my daughter has been, and her name is Megan. She's been on all three of my last projects: my Christmas, this one, and then the project before. And she's a staple to be on there because she's got such a beautiful voice. And actually it was Heidi, my wife again, back when she was in high school, telling me that she needs to be on your project. So I started incorporating her. And she, when she came home, she goes to Liberty University. And she's a junior, and she's an opera singer, which is completely different than this song if you listen to it. And just enjoy to be around. She loves the Lord and very There's a whole other story there that we don't have really time to get into, but I can tell you the Lord has done an incredible work in her life. She was in a really bad place. The lyric of this song really is ministering to her. And when she heard it, she loved it and wanted to be a part of it. So I'm proud of her. Yeah. Yes, a lot of people are confused because it's not my song. It's a guy named Mike, who was a really good friend of mine. And he passed away. He had 11 kids, 7 adopted, 3 special needs of those 7 adopted. So it was a really, really rough go with that, just to see him deteriorate. But one of the things he said to me was either God was going to heal him or he was going to take him home. And he said it with a lot of peace in his heart. We used to play golf a lot, so we had a lot of time to talk. But I wrote this song. It's the melody that came me thinking about Mike. And it didn't come easy. It was actually, usually it was 2 days for me to finish the song. And after I finished it, I wanted to put a lyric to it. And I could not find a lyric that would fit the song. And so I thought, well, I'm going to rejoice. We rejoice when we know that our brothers and sisters go on to be with the Lord. But I also wanted it to sound unfinished, because we know that death is not the end. And so it kind of feels like one of those songs is like, is this completely done yet? And it's supposed to make people think that, because death is not the end. So I miss him a lot. He's a really good friend. And it's hard to watch his family, even now, there's kids without a dad, but that's where the church comes in. And that's where we can minister to them and encourage them. And they really are an inspiration to a lot of us. So this is big. It was big to have Steve sing. And as a matter of fact, it was a song that was not going to be on the project. I'd had 2 versions of the song that I hated, and it never made the project. And my wife came in one day and she goes, I think you should call Steve Green and you should ask him. Because I had met him before, we'd had lunch together, and so I was like, okay. So I texted him on the phone. Isn't that horrible? Steve, will you? And he wrote back, sure. I was like, oh my gosh. Now I got to go in here and redo this song, because I'd already had 2 versions that I hated. So I got together with a guy named Kent Hooper. He's produced a lot of different people, and we came up with the track. And then I called Steve, told him the time to come in, and I'm sitting here with Steve Green. I'm producing the vocal of Steve Green, which is basically you're just sitting there watching him sing. That's basically what it is. And he's like, are you going to tell me anything? I'm like, you're Steve Green. You're doing a great job. Just keep on doing it. But I think maybe a couple of times I told him melodically, you need to do this or something, but it was amazing. And he's so humble. If you know Steve Green. And it kind of came full circle for me, because I had sung a couple of Steve Green songs before, and I had already I sang a duet with David Meese, who I used to listen to, Dallas Holm, who I used to listen to, and then Steve Green, those 3 guys. And so I've sung duets with all 3 of them now. So it was pretty amazing.
The King in glory comes.